this is Anders, and in today's video we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, math. Okay, after that exciting introduction that got everybody so interested in the video, what we're going to talk about today are the recent changes to the FRS drop interest rate. So a lot of you know July 1st, the interest rate goes from 1.3 up to 4%. That's great, over double of what it currently is. What we're going to go into this video is I'm going to do a screen share. The government has a compound calculator on their website that you can use. I'm going to type in some numbers, show you some hypotheticals, show you the difference that it might make, and also just show you how you can do it with your own numbers, which is really exciting. You can kind of go in and once again, calling math exciting, right? Financial advisor. But you can go in and play with it and see how it will work out for your situation. Now, it's not completely accurate. We can't put in cost of living adjustments and things like that, but I'll explain that. And the goal is just kind of give you an overall estimate of what the difference might be. Now, you're going to get official documentation showing you exactly what it is. But I'm just going to show you in this video what the difference between a 1.3% and a 4% interest rate based on a few different scenarios is. Okay, so we're on Investor.Gov. In Investor.Gov, it's a free resource by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. And in here, you can go ahead and put in different amounts, compound interest, and it'll show you how much you'll have. Now, this is really cool. It's specifically made for people who are looking to invest. You can do this with your bank account money. You can do this with 403b or 457 money, 401k money, whatever you might have. But in this video, we're going to do a couple of different scenarios to show you just some things off the top of my head to show you how the 4% increase might impact your drop amount. Okay, so as most of you know, and I'm going to be looking down most of the time because I'm typing this in live while I'm doing this. So as most of you know, your drop amount is your FRS pension check paid in over however long you decide to stay. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, now up to 8 or 10 if you are instructional. But so we're going to put in a couple scenarios. I'll show you how that might change. Okay, so if we go to this compound calculator, and let's say we put in, let's say that your monthly pension is $2,000 per month. And let's say you enter drop after July 1st of 2023. So you get 4% for the entire time. And let's say you stay for 5 years at 4%. And there's no variance in interest rate. At the end, you're going to have approximately $132,597. That'll be pretty close, right? $132,597 at the end. $2,000 per month for 5 years, $132,597. That's pretty average for a lot of people working the FRS. Now, let's say that you stayed for the 5 years before, because what a lot of people are wondering is, okay, but how much of an increase is it? Okay, so we're looking at, we'll just call it one. We're going to round up here to the nearest thousand when we do these. So 133, and let's say that you entered drop and you exited before the rule change. You would have had 123,916, so 124,000, let's call it. All right, so that's an increase of $9,000 based in that scenario. So over 5 years, you get $9,000 extra for having a 4% interest compared to a 1.3. Okay, let's do that again. But let's say that you have a bigger pension. Let's say it's $5,000 per month. Okay, and let's say that we go same thing. At the end of 5 years, your drop amount is $331. Okay, So 331 at 4% if you have a $5,000 a month pension. Well, if you had 1.3, it would have been 310. So in this scenario, this person gets an extra $21,000 in drop because of that difference. Okay, so now couple things. Your pension, if it's 2,000 or 5,000 when you go in, is not going to stay that amount. That's not your payment that's going to keep going in, because you get your COLA every single year, so it'll actually increase. This is a very simple way of doing it, but we're just going to assume it's an average of that amount is going in. Okay, now let's look at the difference between let's look at the difference between 8 years now. Okay, so let's stay on 5,000 since it's already there. 1.3%. We're at 8 years. This person would have had 505,000 under the old rules if they could stay 8 years. Now, this person at 4% will have $565,000. So just 3 years more, because of the compounding interest rate, right? If we go back to the same scenario, over 5 years, it was $30,000 more. Over 8 years, because the interest is compounding, it's an additional $30,000 more. So it's $60,000 more. That's the power of compound calculating. Over 2 or 3 years, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Over 5 years and then 8 years, it becomes a really big deal. And then let's say this person was a teacher and they could go 10 years, right? I know a lot of people won't go this long, but let's just do it. 10 years, this person will have 736. And if we drop the interest rate down to 1.3, 640. 640 to 736. We are talking about a difference of $96,000, almost $100,000, because we increased the interest rate by 2.7%. And that's kind of the point of what I want to get through in this video, is those of you who are planning on retiring in 6 months or a year after the rule change, might not make that big of a difference because you're only getting 1 year of that interest. But this compound effect is a big deal. So if you're thinking about entering drop or going in a drop or staying in drop, the difference of this interest rate is pretty big. Okay, now I want to run a few more scenarios. Okay, so let's say that you've already been in drop for 4 years. Let's say you have $100,000 in drop. Okay, and then after July, let's say that you stay another, let's say you stay another 2 years, and your contributions are, let's call it $2,000 a month. Okay, and $100,000, $2,000 a month. Oh, I need to calculate that. At the end, you'll have $151,000 in drop. Okay. Now let's say we increase that to 4%. At the end of 2 years, you'll have 158. Okay. So that's a difference of $7,000. Now, that's what you want to kind of look at. If it's 1 year, so let's say you have 1 year left to go, at 4% is 129 versus 1.3, 125. So that's a difference of $4,000. Now, the longer you are in, the bigger that compound difference will make. Remember, any money that was in the drop account before July 1st of 2020 23 was earning 1.3%. There's nothing you can do. What's in there is in there. But anything as it stays in there after July 1st of 2023, it will start earning that 4%. So I hope this was helpful. My recommendation is use this tool. Go in. It's not going to be as accurate as the FRS projections that they will send you and they will get you, because the FRS projections take into consideration your COLA. So these numbers are actually bigger if that's your starting amount. But yeah, take advantage of this. You could also do this with hey, if I am exiting drop, right, and I have $200,000, let's say I don't contribute anything else because I'm retiring, and I leave my money in for 10 years, and right now we have a fixed liquid account at 4.05. It's only guaranteed for this year, but still 4.05. $200,000 over 10 years, if you can somehow maintain that interest rate, you're gonna have almost 300,000 at the end, right? If you put your money in an investment that'll average 6%, you're at 363 or almost 364. So now, obviously, something that has those higher amounts, right now you can't get that guaranteed, but there are investments that will guarantee 5.3, 5.4, almost 5.6 for that period. So that you can see the difference of, well, if I go with this investment right now, we're hearing a lot of, well, my 403B pays me a guarantee of 2. Is it that big of a deal to go from 2 to 4%? Well, let's look, right? We said 4% was right at 298. If you're making 2 after 10 years, you have 244. That's a pretty big difference, especially since when you're retired, you're no longer earning that money. So my point of this is go in, type in your numbers, type in what your current investments are making or what your current 403B interest rate is. If you could get a higher rate or a bank rate or with us or something else, type in those numbers and figure it out. You can also go in and say, well, I'm going to be in drop now for 8 years. Well, my 403B is currently worth $5,000 or $50,000, let's say. And let's say I contribute $250 per month. I'm going to be in drop for 8 years, and it's going to average, say, 4%. Well, at the end, I'll have 97,000. Well, what happens? Maybe I want to increase that from 250 to 350. Now I'll have 108 when I retire, right? So go on, use this. If you don't like doing this or this looks miserable to you, first off, you probably already clicked out of this video. But second, if you want, this is what we do every day. So we can sit down and we can say, okay, well, this is why we use higher interest rate accounts, or this is the benefit of going with this account or increasing your 403B contributions. So just thought it'd be a good resource. Thank you so much. If you know anyone who can benefit from this video, send it to them. Make sure you subscribe if you want more information about the FRS. And lastly, if you need an appointment or want to talk to somebody, the link to our calendar is down below. Wherever you're watching this, thank you so much. Have a great day.